Hi, Carol here. A warm welcome to my craft room, and it's Ballerina Slipper Day. I had made my granddaughter, she is a ballerina, these slippers to put in the bag in the card set that I had made and already posted. And I thought I would just share with you some of the ways that I changed up the pattern that you can see here that I got off of the internet, and make a few suggestions if you do have this particular download. So first you're going to want to cut out the bottom sole. You're going to want to cut out the inside sole, and you're going to want to cut out the paper that you're going to use, and also if you are going to cover the paper with some type of material, satin, lace, whatever material that you want to use. Now, I'm going to show you this right here because you're going to add a little bit more of the edge to this so that when you apply it to the sole of your shoe, you have a little bit more paper to work with. So when I did this and I cut them out, I learned this on the second go when I was making the other shoe. So obviously there's two shoes. This works wonderfully, don't get me wrong. I just liked a little bit more of the, pulling it over the edge of the sole to glue down. But this works fine. And the other thing that I want to mention is the top of the ballerina slipper is quite square. So I had to fix that up once I was done tracing this out, cutting it out, and I looked at it and I knew I had to add more so that the top of the shoe was very squared off, noticeably squared off. This wasn't square. It was more of a slipper than a ballerina shoe that I printed off. So I cut it already at the top, like straight across, but I do in the final part, as I'm working with it, I do make it more squared at the toe because I have seen my granddaughter's ballerina shoes, and they are quite, not the slipper they practice with, but their actual ballet slippers have a very flat, and they have that brick of wood down in the toe so that when they stand up, they're not flat out on their little toes. Yes. I loved the bottom, to think about the bottom of this in a more of a craft color than I had there with the thick cardboard color. And I ended up having to apply both the cardboard, so you're going to keep that one, and you're going to have a bottom layer. And generally the leather on the bottom of a ballet slipper is in the brown. And it's not a full bottom sole like this. Generally a ballet slipper has the little bit up on the top of your foot, on the base of your toes going across, like on the bottom of your foot, and at the heel. There's just a little round spot. So if you look it up, you're going to see that. But I wanted to have it like this because I want to put two tags on the back of the ballet slippers. And I am going to put some little smelly things in the toe of it so that they can hang in the bedroom or, go in the bathroom, wherever you want to put hanging ballet slippers. I don't know if you'd hang them in your bathroom. But I'm going to put sachets in the toe so that they have a nice smell. So you can tell I have 3 soles out there, ballet soles, and one with the pattern paper from my Creative Spirit, the Christmas collection, because that is the bag I made her, the card I made, and then the slippers are going to go in. So I'm following suit with the Stamperia Christmas collection, and you're going to understand more as far as what you need to have in this tutorial as we go along. So as you can see, we're looking at this, that you have just that tiny edge. Now, I didn't mind working with this tiny edge. It wasn't that. I just thought it would have been a little better to have a tad bit of paper to work with. And it also would have been better if I put it in frame. Yes, there's a lot of things. I had the camera running, but I wasn't really watching it in the sense I needed to have these slippers done and in the bag. I worked right up to the last minute because you know that's how I work. And if you want to have a few suggestions here, spray your paper just a fine mist of water so that you can bend that paper over and glue it with liquid glue, obviously. If you have a little bit of water, it's a little bit more moldable. And then I was picking out the proper pink I wanted to have as far as a ballet slipper. So I went to my stash and got out some pink paper. Now here we go. You don't have to worry that it's not perfect if you're going to put material on it. And you're also going to put batting on it. So be mindful that if it gets squared off like that shoe now, just hang on here. I'm going to have a laughing fit. Just a minute. Okay, I'm trying. I remember sitting there going, wait a minute, something's wrong with this picture. Can you guess what it is? I did 2 left feet. Yes. I forgot to turn the sole of the other one over. So I had a right and a left foot, and I have 2 left feet. I mean, people have said I have 2 left feet, but I mean, look at this. I'm going, no, that doesn't work. They both look like left feet. Yes. It didn't matter. You can push on it, you can step on it, you can do whatever you want. I had to fix this up, so I had a right ballet slipper and a left. Look at this. So then I thought, oh, I'll just put the other sole in there facing the right way. So I had a right foot. It doesn't work. No, I was so I was so disabled that my magnet bracelet there was falling off. I'm going, oh, this, you've got to be kidding me. 2 left feet? Well, you know, maybe there's ballerinas that have 2 left feet. I don't know. I know my granddaughter doesn't. And I had to come up with a quick plan because I was not. Look at it. If you put the left to the right or the right to the left, when you have 2 left feet, there's still going to remain 2 left feet. That indent is still going to be facing the wrong way, right? And I thought, oh, should I take this paper off and start over? I started it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I said, you know what? You know I don't get rid of anything. I don't, even if I have to mess it up to get it to the right spot, that's what I was going to do. And if you end up making 2 right feet or 2 left feet, I just thought it was funny that there were 2 left feet, you know. I was talking to myself going, okay, you have to straighten that up. You got to get that groove over to the other side on the right. So that's what I did. I left it on there because I knew I was covering it in satin, and I made that groove. Come on, just get your cutting knife and slowly. You got to do it. So, yeah, you can see. With my little fingers there, I'm going, what am I going to do here? I can't cut all the way through it. But I worked slowly and meticulously, and I took out the inside portion of the shoe, the actual sole, excuse me. So I cut out another pattern with it going the right way. I slid it in so I had a mold of how I needed to cut it properly. I took my cutting knife and I cut it out. Now, I wouldn't suggest you put your hand underneath there. Yeah, that wouldn't be a wise thing to do. So I had to go and make that curve go on the right foot to the left. Yeah. No matter how I'm looking at this, it all ends up I have to do it left, right? No, not right, left. Left, right. Right? Who's on first? Yeah, I couldn't wait to share this, that I actually made 2 left ballerina slippers. 2 left ones. This is something when you're creating, you need to, it doesn't have to be meticulous. You don't have to be right on. But when you're that close to having it indent to the left, you know, on the right side of your left shoe, let's go with that, you're going to need to help it out a little bit on the inside portion, okay? I ended up putting batting to fix the outside portion to make it look like you had a right ballet slipper and a left ballet slipper. But on the inside, as I'm struggling here to get that nice indent in there, and just, I did it a little bit at a time. Yeah, get out of there. And it took me a while, but I ended up getting it to look like a right and a left ballerina slipper because I put batting on the outside of the shoe that was supposedly to be the right one, right? So, right. Boy, that is so confusing to even talk like that. Yeah, I needed to take that indent. Yeah, ooh, get it over. Yes, all right. This is so funny. Whenever I was trying to come up with an idea, I'd take a sip of my Coca-Cola and then I'd put it down. Then I'd take a sip of my Coca-Cola. I must have downed a glass before I even started the decoration of this project. So I set them over there and I thought to myself, now I need to have satin. So I went to my stash. I spilled water all over the place because this is a travel iron and I don't have the top on it there. It must have fallen off so the water came out. I didn't need to have a ton of steam on this. So I thought I'd make 2 bows for the top of the slipper. Isn't this the cutest little dress? It was so hard for me to cut this. It really was. So I cut the inside of it, the satin part that was on the, oh, what do you call it? I had to, I can't believe I lost the word. This is so funny. I get so excited about what I'm doing, I start to talk loudly. I apologize. I'm going to back it off. Not get so excited because I can remember when I started that. But that's the slip. Slippers, Carol. Slip. Yes. Beautiful little dress. I love it at the thrift stores when you go in to look for pretty dresses to use, you know, on albums and for making things like this. The beautiful colors, the soft pastels that they have when they designed little children's clothes back in the day. I'm talking the 50s now, the 50s and 60s. So here I got out my batting, and it's a thin batting. I got that at the dollar store where nothing's a dollar. I think it was $3 for this bag of batting. And I'm going to cut it out the same as the pattern that I downloaded or uploaded. I did 2 twice. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was $2. Look at that. I can see I knew it was not a dollar. It was $2 to have this bag of batting. I love it because it's thin and you can always add to, but it's hard to take away when you have batting, isn't it? Got to use my nice fabric scissors from Ginger. I love these scissors. They just cut. If you don't use it on paper and ruin them, they'll cut fabric just like butter. So now you have that little bit, like I said. You want to ease off on pulling it though, because that's going to give the softness that you need to take away that harsh paper look when you add the satin, because satin hugs very well on paper, so you have to be careful. So the batting is going to make the difference. I just cut into some little seams there so I could fold it easier when I put the hot glue down. Start from one side to the other and fold it inside of the shoe if you like, or you can leave it right onto the edge. That's what I think I did. I just cut it to the edge of the paper, and I am going to follow through on adding the beautiful satin. And that's what I want to say, my friends. Look for children's clothing in secondhand stores. You know, it's hard to get a vintage dress that has a slip attached, although I do have them, but in that pretty pink color. They used to make dress antique more style dresses in these lighter colors back in the day. So I'd always check out the children's clothes for projects such as this. It worked out well, and I didn't have to use the top of it, the outside of the dress. I'm just trying to not burn my hands off right there and cut it right to the edge of the paper because I'm going to fold it out now. See how excited I get now. I'm trying to lighten my voice here. Get a spatula, my friends. There's too much glue going on with this pattern to do it with your fingers all the time. I got the worst, see I'm cutting off my sentences, the worst burn on my thumb I've ever gotten doing this project. It was bad. And so I just, thought I better get my spoons. They're my Betty Crocker silicone little spoons and work with those. Although I do have the finger dowels, but I can't feel with those. I can't feel the project. I think you know what I mean when I say that. So here I'm tucking over top of the paper. Now you can keep this as paper ballet slippers. They would look just as beautiful. But the reason why I went to the satin, one was for realism, more of a realistic. If I went to realism, they'd be leather. But the pretty slippers, not the ballet ones that are leather, are beautiful satin. And I was so thankful I had that slip in that pretty, pretty pink to match the inside of the shoe with the Stamperia papers that I was sent from Claire on my creative spirit. So here we go. I'll leave the link. Claire has some buys going on there, but if you're going to enter my 90-day no-buy challenge, you're not going to go buy too much in 90 days. That's the problem with that, right? But if you haven't joined my 90-day challenge, you can check out the sales at My Creative Spirit. And I'll leave it at that. I'm putting your names down in a journal, let me say that, and we're going to do something special on April 1st. Whew, that was fast, wasn't it? So let's get back to the actual design. This is where you're going to be very mindful of the squared off toe right here. You're not going to see this, but you do want it flattened out when you put the batting on. It's a nice thin batting, and you're not going to believe how this left shoe looked right when I was done. It all came out all right. Can't believe, yeah, see? There, it's starting to straighten itself out on the right-hand side of my left shoe. Then I needed to fill in this little spot with the paper that was just too cut off. It was too square. Everything, my friends, is fixable. And this is how I had to do it with the right shoe. Well, it was my left shoe. But I'm going to talk about it like it's my right shoe. And I had to make that right shoe not be cut off facing just the same as the left shoe. The more I had it looking like the left shoe, because it was another left shoe, I wouldn't have accomplished anything, right? So I just thought, okay, let's add some bulk to the toe so it's not rounded off the same. It's more straight on the left side. Now we're talking about the right shoe, right? It's more straight on the left side and more gently curved on the right. And you'll see what I mean once we get done. It really did look like I didn't mess up. It looked like a left ballerina slipper and a right ballerina slipper. And when you see the PDF file, I'm not sure if it's in JPEG, I think it's PDF that I cut from, you're going to see that it didn't have a real squared off toe. Excuse me, a squared off toe. It was more of a slipper style toe. But you're going to fix that right away. When you're cutting the sole, cut it off straight so you don't forget. I'll just add that. And we're off to create these hanging ballet slippers just as a little, sweet, smelly sachet goes down in the toe. And I think they're really pretty, especially if being my granddaughter is a ballerina. And she's just a beautiful ballerina, actually. And Yeah, she teaches ballet, and yeah, I'm very proud of her. All of those lessons and all of those recitals. Oh yes. Nana was sitting, now here I go. I'm trying to think, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm going to need a charge, a Coca-Cola charge. I must need a lot of it there. I must be just lugging it back or holding it and trying to think, okay, how am I going to do this? Oh, there you go. Such a relief to see I actually put it down. Oh, this is what I was showing you. I showed you how many times even though I did the edit, how many times I picked up while I was thinking. It was crazy. Especially editing, I noticed how much I take a little bit of pop and then I pause. A little bit of pop and then I pause. It's crazy. So let's move on. Now I'm going to show you as I take another little sip of my Coca-Cola. I left this in the edit just for me so that I can back away from the Coca-Cola while I'm creating, because if I keep, every time I'm thinking of doing something and I take a sip of Coca-Cola, I down a case of it just in one creative session. Yeah, so here we go. I'm cutting out the pattern, leaving a little bit more. See how you can see I need a little bit more because I put batting. So you want to go below the mark that you printed off so that you have a little bit more to work with. And that's exactly how much I worked with right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the inside, and we're going to cover both of the ballet slippers with batting and both with this glorious satin. Beautiful. It is the perfect ballet pink. I was so grateful to have that in my stash. And yeah, I just have to find a spot. Come on. Yeah, there you go. And there you have it. I'm going to cut this, and then I wanted to use up embellishments. I buy bridal gowns and I cut off all of the embellishments, all the beadwork, and I store it and keep it for projects such as this is wonderful, or if I do material albums. But I wanted to use my applique, and I wanted to use flowers, and I wanted to really, yes, it's okay, Carol. It's okay. It's starting to look like a left and a right. I kept staring at it. Like I kept looking at it and laughing. I truly was laughing, because to make 2 left feet in slippers. Okay, I want to show you this. Let me stop yakking there for a minute. You want to be mindful of making this squared off. And it's very simple to do this, okay? Don't think this is a complicated project. It's not. Because if you're going to use applique, you're going to cover up quite a bit of this. And if you're going to use lace and beadwork, you're not going to see all the mistakes or all the irregularities in putting down the satin, because you're going to cover it. I always think of this. Everything with a step-by-step project like this will be covered with another cover. So the imperfections will be covered up one way or another. I will find beads, I'll find lace, I'll find bouquet, I'll find whatever it takes to cover up the little flaws on the work. You aren't going to get something perfect. All you get from that, my friends, is a headache, because you're trying to be too meticulous. And I like the little, adding the little extras, so to speak. But when you're creating something like this and it bends where you don't want it to bend, or you make 2 left feet, if you can make a right foot out of a left foot, my friends, you've got it down. You've met the creative height of the ladder, the corporate ladder of creativity, when you can change a left foot to a right foot. Here I was just thinking, should I make the toe a little different, like darker, because I am going to cover it up with flowers. I thought of this idea, but that slippery satin was just giving me a little bit of back talk there, and I thought, oh, you're going to get nasty on me, are ya? Okay, I'm not even going to use ya. Off with ya. So I didn't. I got out this beautiful bolt of lace that I had in my stash. I don't know, and this, I have to tell you, I used to think this was called brocade, but it's not. And I have stored this. I absolutely love it. I remember the day I got it at an old drugstore in town. It was like they were selling out of all of their fabrics and that. Look at the bolt. I mean, this is old, my friends. So I was using this, and it's not called brocade. I'm going to tell you what it is because it'll come to my mind, but it isn't brocade. It is a different word that doesn't make any sense to me. But let's move on until it comes to my mind. Okay, now here, I want to make sure I get everything I put on here right up into the square of the toe. Halfway on the left, halfway on the right. So that because they're hanging up, you're going to see down into the ballet slipper, right? If they were seated like this, you wouldn't. But because, that's the way I am, I wanted it to show all the way down. So you're going to need to cut it off the bolt and then work with it with whatever you have, like a pokey tool or a plastic tool, something to get it pushed down in there. And at the same time, you can add the glue to your pokey tool, put your pokey tool with the glue down in the toe, and then release it and quickly put your material down there. I had to do that many times working with this. So that is just a little suggestion. Now here's the bolt. Is this not beautiful? This, my friends, corrects 1,000 mistakes with just lace. Lace is see-through, but you are going to hide a multitude of sin right there at the top of your slipper, let me tell you. If you want to use that, that cliche, whatever, you're going to put that on. This is how easy it is, my friends. Just put the hot glue, bend it over. You're going to have the points in it, see? And look how squared off it looks. And you can tell on the right shoe up in the left there that the material is a little empty there at the top of the toe on the left side. That's the way I like it because you're making it work. That's all you have to do, my friends, is make the project work for you. Don't let it have control of you. No. Don't get frustrated. No. Let it work for you. I'm the one creating this little slipper. You're not creating it. You're not in charge. Isn't that bolt of pink beautiful? I couldn't wait to get it. I got this in lilac and white and cream, these bolts. And did I get a sale on those? It was wonderful. Now, I needed to pick out, get my hand out of the way. You can always tell when I'm talking to somebody on FaceTime, can't you? It's so rude, and I'm so sorry, but I couldn't help it. It was in the edit, and I needed to show you what I was doing. So ignore me there. I'm picking out a tag to put on the bottom of the shoe. Once I get that done and cut out, I'll move forward with the slipper. So far we have the paper, we have the sole, we have the paper over top of the sole, we have the construction of the slipper in paper, then we have the batting, then we have the satin, and now we're working with lace and this is the stamp period paper I'm looking at here from my Creative Spirit. Thank you, Claire. This paper is going to take me a long way. And these slippers, if I didn't do it in the satin, I would have done it with those roses on that floral sheet. I love that. Oh. So here I'm just getting some inspiration on colors and things, what to move forward with my flowers and such. So I have this thick sole of the shoe. I am going to, this is for the bottom. I had to make this bigger. Thicker, because adding the satin, adding the batting made it wider, and it's supposed to be, the original size is 6 1/4 by 2 1/4, so 6 1/4 long, and at the toe of the shoe would be 2 1/4, and it's about 1.25 inches depth. But you can see I put this on. I did have to cut a few sheets of the craft, but that's okay. Because it's so thick and it's a little wider, a little longer, I had to work with it. I had to put the shoe down. I had to take my pencil and trace it out in a different fashion just by eyeballing it here to see if I needed to add more to the toe, more to the left side, right side, whatever. And once I got the final size that I needed, I had to move on and do the exact same thing. Don't make a replica of the shoe because one will not be the same as the other. You know, you might have added more batting or more paper or more lace or more satin to the other shoe. So make sure that you cut them out separately. Don't count on flipping it over, tracing it, and cutting it out. That's just a suggestion. Now we're going to move on. I need a little bit of batting for the bottom. You're going to want to put batting on the bottom of the shoe just to cover up that glue mess, putting down the satin. It's going to be bumpy. So add some more batting. Batting isn't expensive if you get it at the dollar store where nothing's $1. There you go. See how thin it is too, but doesn't it really cover that up nicely? Makes it soft, makes it pliable and workable. I just love it. And I wanted to say this. On my video with the haul, did you notice that in one section I forgot to turn the sound up so it all was an even tone? I left it one section down, so you're listening to me and then all of a sudden I go into a whisper. Yes, for that little section. I apologize for that. I have to always be mindful when I edit to make sure all of my sounds are moved up to 400%. If I leave one out, it sounds like at a certain section, it'll sound like I'm whispering. So that's what happened if you notice that. So here we go. Let's get going. I'm just adding some glue. I'm putting the batting on and patting it down and keeping those scissors close to me. This is when it's okay for me to have scissors. Yes, it's okay for me to have scissors with this. It's kind of hard to mess it up, so to speak. So now I have to get this sole and turn it the right way so I have a right and a left sole on there. And you can see you don't want to put the crisscross of your lace at the top of the slipper. I saw on pictures on Pinterest where if they're slippers, they crisscrossed at the top of the slipper. But ballet shoes are a different thing. They cross the section at the bottom towards the heel because that's where you're going to tie it up your leg, is at the ankle. So I'll show you that in just a minute. Don't, unless you're using it as just a sample shoe or slipper, then you can put the crisscross ribbon at the top of the shoe. But if you're doing a ballet slipper, my friend, let's have a little sip of Coca-Cola, shall we? I should have one now because I'm talking up a storm. And so here we go. This is where we are in the, and you can see the difference of the craft paper that we're using here. I wanted it to be kind of a true leather craft color on the bottom of the slipper. And I am seeing how close I get to both of the bottom soles, but I'm making sure I flip the one so it's a right shoe, not two lefts. I laughed so hard I had tears coming out my eyes. I kept looking at it going, something doesn't look right here. Something really doesn't look right there. Looks like two left feet. Can't be. Well, if I create it, it's very likely it is two left feet. And it was. But we corrected it together. Wasn't that awesome? I love creating with you. Here we go. What's one of my videos without eating something? I took it out of the way. I cut my pizza up into little bits so I could shove it from the fork into my face and not get anything on my satin, because for sure that would happen. And then I thought, oh, Carol, get that away. Heat it up later. You could really do some damage getting pizza sauce on your beautiful slipper, your beautiful ballet slipper. Now this is the roll I got at the dollar store where nothing's a dollar, and I can cut off all of those sections. So I cut a single layer off and I put that up against the, it's not brocade, but I am going to tell you what that's called. If you work with material, you're going to know what that's called. I didn't. I had to ask my friend Tina. She told me what it was. Right, Tina? And I wrote it down, and now I can't find what I did with the piece of paper. Tweezers work really well right here when you're putting beadwork in. And this is a line of pearls. So you have to work fast, and you have to get that down into the square of the toe, right? So here I am working with this slipper, but I have to move on because there's two of them. Then I realized in my clip, I didn't keep out the construction of that well, it would have been the right shoe. Now we're going to work on the other one. And I'm really glad I had this in my actual film. So I went to my stash and I got out some beautiful beadwork, just beautiful beadwork. And where I put my hot glue gun, that is from the dollar store where nothing's a dollar. It is a candle holder, a metal candle holder, and it holds up my glue gun because this glue gun doesn't have any stand with it. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love that shoe. I just loved it. And see how pretty that shoe is up there with the brocade on the actual paper, on the sole part of the inside. I just loved it. That was from a wedding dress, so I was really blessed to have that because I really wanted to doll these ballet slippers up. And you can see how far I made that squared off toe. It is really squared off because that's what a ballet slipper looks like. And you can tell from the side that it was just folded over with glue. But we're going to put something on there and you're not going to see the fold. So here we go. I have that beautiful brocade going around the top of the slipper. I took a piece of applique, two pieces that were identical from off this wedding dress, and I added them to the bottom of the shoe because it's like a filigree with beautiful beadwork. And then you can see some of the pattern paper from the Stamperia collection, which is wonderful. And then we're going to put these flowers that I had in my stash to the toe, right inside of the toe. Because remember I said if they're hanging from the actual lace ribbon, you're going to see down in there. So I had a heart right here. I'm going to add a second heart because you know why? I'm going to tell you. I'm not ashamed to tell you that this shoe is flatter than the other shoe. The other shoe was raised up. I must have put more batting in that one. I did. Remember when I corrected it? So I had to add two of these heart lace structures to raise it up. So both of them were the same chubbiness as far as depth. So you got to do what you got to do, my friends, right? When you're crafting, you just make it work. It just has to end up working at the end. Then I folded over this, a flower I had in, what's that material called? That real fine, delicate material. I folded it in half and put it under the heart of the center of that heart applique. So it looks really delicate. I added some beads there. Actually, I think that bead was right from it had a tie, like a ribbon tie on top of the heart. Now I'm going to add one little piece to this side and one piece, obviously you're not going to see it underneath, but I did make it a little fuller in height than the other shoe. So because it was seated on top of the beadwork in the right shoe there, I had to add a little bit because you could see I had two pieces of heart material on one shoe and not on the other. You know, if somebody was checking it out closely. So I just chopped off one of the hearts and I added the lace to one side and to the other side. And just like that, get in there, tucked it in, glue gunned it down. and nobody's the wiser but you and me. That's it. And if you're joining me for my 90-day challenge of no buying, make sure that you tell me in the comments so I can put your name down, because we're going to do something special April 1st to celebrate all of us not buying anything for, and I mean nothing. We're not buying anything for 3 months. So it's from January 1st until April 1st. But, you know, if you're a day late here and you want to join, just put it in the comments and I'll put you down. You're just not going to buy for a couple of days into April to make it a 3-month challenge. That's all. No worries. So now that brocade, oh, I wish that name would come to my head. We're going to add that to the inside of this one shoe because I already completed it on the other. Now we'll move forward into adding that, I just want to call it brocade. I'm going to get that before the end of the video just so I can tell you the name of that. It sounded so odd to me. I had these little white beautiful bows in my stash, so I added one to the top and one to the bottom wrapped around the shoe. Now my friends, if you're new to my videos, I just want to explain, I don't do my videos more or less a instructional teaching video, like a step-by-step. I'm not a teacher of crafts as such, like an instructional teacher of how to do cards and crafts. I'm more or less, I'm in my craft room, I'm creating, and I would love to have you join me. So I picture that you're just around my island in my craft room and we're all just having a cup of tea, a bunch of food, and enjoying craft time together. So if you were thinking, if you're new and you were thinking, oh, like, what are the sizes and what are all this, that, and the other? I try to put them up at times, but sometimes I'm just quickly making a craft. I have to get it out as a gift or as, you know, as something I am putting aside to give away or whatever. So I just create and ask you to have a seat in my craft room and do it together. I just love that way of having tutorials, just having a good old fun time. That's what I like to do. Here I'm using my spatula, and I don't think I've burnt myself yet. But the funny thing was, do you want to know how I burnt myself? I'll tell you. I was putting a piece of that brocade down, and there was a piece on my island there, and I went to get it, move it out of the way, but I didn't think it had hot glue on it. And I grabbed it, my thumb full on into that boiling, I'm going to make this sound really good, boiling volcano hot glue right on my thumb. And I got so scared. It was so violent. Whoa, this is a story, isn't it? That I grabbed my arm and I flung it. And then I looked and I said, where'd that go? I had to run and take care of my thumb because, boy, it was bad. I burnt right down to the last layer. But I couldn't find the little piece of that brocade pink stuff. And I'm thinking it's got to be on the ceiling or on top of my bookcase. I couldn't find it for days. And then when I tell you where it was, but I will right after this, just a second. So I'm putting the brocade, or I'm sorry, this beautiful lace work that I cut off of a bridal gown. I'm putting it down on the inside. This piece, my friends, is the most beautiful applique I have used from this one gown. I have so many wonderful bag loads of this brocade, and notice how it worked out that I got the swirls to go left and I got the swirls to go right at the bottom of the shoe by the ankle there. See how it does that? Guess what that is? It is to make sure the shoes look like a right and a left. It is another way to add something hidden for the brain. It's one of those kind of like, what do they call it? When you're, fooling the brain to think one thing, but it's really something else. See the twirls? One goes left and one goes right. Now it's helping to make the left look like left right. And another thing I did to help out with it not looking left, after I put these little flowers, these have the shiniest little diamond in the center of this flower. I had to use them all the way around the edge here. And you know why that is? To cover up the wavy part that didn't get tucked under. The satin didn't get tucked under in a nice smooth fashion. So to fool the eye again, I added these little wee daisies, I think they are, and they have a diamond chip in the center, and they just shine in the light like you wouldn't believe. Gorgeous. And see, I'm trying to get you to see that sparkle. It's so yummy, deliciously antique looking. I love it. Matches the sparkle on the inside of the ballet slipper, on the sole, and yeah, super, super happy with how this is going. Now, you notice I put one pink flower down from my stash. It's a paper flower. I twirled the wires like I like to do, but I did not have the same color pink. I only had one. Isn't that crazy that I didn't even think of that? So I thought that's okay. I'll just use my Copics and I'll just turn the compressor on and use my air gun, and I will spray them matching colors. But then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that, because I want these to be the eye to not notice that I really do have two left shoes. You can't get away from it, but I'm showing you all the different ways to make that two left shoe, the one left shoe, look right. And that's the applique going in a different direction, each pointing in its own direction. Put the flowers on in different colors so the eye is not centered on the inside of the sole, moving inward. And I'm telling you, and you know what? I didn't get any pictures at the end because literally this was Christmas Eve and I was working on this and I needed to get it into the bag. So I apologize that it didn't have, well, my granddaughter is sending me a pic, and then I'm going to take a pic from that pic on my camcorder, download it, and put it in. So that's what I'm going to do. Now you can see I didn't have enough of one colored flower. I don't know what it is. Let me see what I have. I would have rather have used that pink flower in the center. I'm just trying to take some of the lift off so it doesn't look higher than the other one. But I like the shoes being different colors. I really did. So, but if I had my, my feathers, I would have, you see the left one there, all white with just one pink. I would have left it like that. I really like the subtleness of that one. But I didn't have enough of one of them, so it ended up looking like this. So what do you do in a circumstance like this? I think everybody knows. We grab our gesso and then we pounce it with a nice hard bristled paintbrush so it's thick. You don't want a soft one because it's just going to lather them up. You want to be in control. And how do you be in control with the paintbrush? Have the paintbrush be really bristly at the ends. Don't wash it really well. Let it dry kind of hard. And that's what I did there. And I'm super happy with it. I'm really pleased. Now I have to double up because when you lay your slippers down, my friends, that's when you're going to see the height you need. That's where you're going to determine, do I need 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers of batting? What do I need here? So I wanted it to look like I actually knew what I was doing, so I took out that cutter for material, but I'm not comfortable with it yet. So I grabbed the old scissors and went loose on it, and I felt much more comfortable than using the proper tool for working with batting and material. So here you have it. We're putting the sole down underneath, well, on the underneath part where we have all the tucks of paper, satin, batting, you name it, we've got it on there, don't we? And I kept in as much film as that I had, because I was working in such a hurry to get this completed for my granddaughter. So that's why, I didn't have it in better order for you. So here we go. I am going to show what I have for now. And don't they look like a right and a left? I really think they do. And I hung the left one at the top because that's the one you're going to see. And then I hung the right one at the bottom because you want to hang them when you're making your ribbon, your tie, like your bows. Have one up high and one down low. And here, aren't these sweet? And then you put a little sprinkle of it. If you can't find sachet packets, just get a tea bag, my friends. Cut the tea bag, get the tea out, and then put some stinky stuff like even baby powder, but you can put some stinky stuff you can get in a bigger sachet or a little bottle at the dollar store when nothing's $1. Put it in your tea bag, put some hot glue across it, and then put it on the upper portion, glue it down with hot glue on the upper portion of the toe of your shoe. And it will stink so pretty, you're gonna love it. Now, here is, I had to tuck these under the beadwork. This is my crinkle ribbon, my vintage pink crinkle ribbon that I love. I hoard this stuff. And I always buy it in white if possible. But I'm glad I bought it in pink because you can always go over your ribbon with ink and your dauber. Just go slide it down and make it whatever color you want if the ribbon is in white. But here I had the white kind of ribbon. I had the pink ribbon. And so that's what I used, the light ribbon. Here we go. Excuse me, sorry about that. I just took a little bit of pop and it came back on me so that everybody knew. Yes, I do burp. So here we are. Oh, even gurgled. So remember that the tie goes at the ankle part, not at the front. If you're just doing slippers, the front is fine. Now, out of the paper pack, I cut out this little tag, a pull-out tag, and then I'm going to write my special little note. And then out of the pack, I had a Merry Christmas. So I glue-gunned that. You know what this does if you use cardboard cutouts? Now I'm trying to figure out which is the left and which is the right. If I had left it 2 left ones, I could have put it anywhere. Yes. Anyway, it adds the weight that I love in any project. Now I have to take this ribbon off. It did not seat itself firmly. I didn't want it to bow and I didn't want it uneven. And I found that it did. So I just cut along the edges and I redid them, which you are going to see towards the end. This is stuff, if you're new to crafting, you get that right. Everything is fixable. Everything is fixable. Don't throw anything out. If you created 2 left shoes, my friends, just work on that to make the one a right shoe. And it just pushes your creativity to a new level that you're going to be able to fix things without having to, get upset about it. Now, here we go. I made another carrying box for my other granddaughter, so I was just finishing that at the same time. You know how I bounce back and forth, back and forth. But see my crisscross ribbons? They're absolutely beautiful. They're straight, they're crisscross, they're not crinkled, as straight as I could put it. And I wanted you just to slow down the actual tutorial and just to view how gorgeous these ballet slippers they are, and they came out. And don't you love that at the end of the tag I put the matching little glitter daisies that were up around the top of the ballet slippers. I actually put it on the, it's not, my ribbons it's not jute. It's, you know, all that. It's not jute string, but you know that string that we all bought a billion rolls of? But anyway, I put that same flower on the end. Now, I tucked my ribbon underneath the bows. You want to do one on each side, and I didn't cut it off at the top. I left it so that it just looped itself around, and I didn't have two strings. I had one because it was looped at the end. I did that for some reason. I can't think of what it was. Oh, I wanted to put the one ribbon, and there you go, my little note. See the little flowers that match going around the upper portion of the ballet slippers? That I see them on there. You can see them more on the left than on the right shoe. But they glitter and sparkle on the applique on the inside. I am so happy. You know I always like to thank each of you 1,000 times, so let me do it now. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining me. I sure appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend time with me. That really does mean a lot. I know how valuable time is. I am putting the ribbon underneath these bows. Tuck spots are wonderful, aren't they? You can find a place to hide just about anything when you're creating. And when my granddaughter took these out of the bag, she cried. She just broke down crying. So, you know, my family's sitting there, we're all crying over, Kate crying over her slippers. She just loved her Nana making that for her. She really, that's what makes homemade items for your family so wonderful. I'm tearing up just talking about it. That, you know, your family loves to receive things that are homemade, don't they? I know I do. I know I love to receive things that somebody put their time and effort and their creativity into just for me. I love that. Here I'm taking my pokey tool and just getting that situated. I don't want to get too drippy cryy because you know that'll just be it. I'll just lose it and then I have to stop the video and go have myself a nice cry. Nothing wrong with that, is there? So here I'm trying to figure out, okay, how much does my right shoe hang from the left shoe? You'll figure it out. However, there. I liked it just like that. So when it's hanging up, it looked just like that. The toe and the heel are even. Then I make myself a pretty bow. Now, I did it like that. You can tell what I did, kind of like that hoop loop thing. And then I folded over a double piece of ribbon and glued it to that one. So it looked like, it was kind of like a faux bow. I did a faux bow. Yes. And it looked like I tied the bow doubly, but I didn't. Doubly. Is that a word? I folded it double. That's better. So here I'm doing the old try again, and then I glue them together. I do a loop knot on both of them, glue them together, and then I add another double loop, if that makes sense. And when my granddaughter sends me a pic and I put it up at the end, you know I like having pictures at the end of the tutorial, but I will get that up. Here I'm just trying to figure it out. There. I put glue. I tied it there. You can leave it just like that. Glue it just like that. Put it down so it's a faux bow, you know, a nice fake bow. You can tie another ribbon, like, you know, the ribbon you're using, cut off a piece and wrap it around that if you don't want to see the actual ties on it. There's possibilities everywhere, aren't they? And then we're just about finished. We're going to put it into our matching box. It's a purse box, a purse bag, and the matching card. I'll leave that up at the end of my tutorial if you're interested in seeing. All three of these My Creative Spirit designs are using the Stamperia Pink Christmas papers. And I so loved creating these slippers. I can't even tell you. And my friend Gail, she is my friend from Georgia. She made these. Gail made these. I don't like saying she. Boy, I've been saying that a lot, haven't I? But Gail made these ballet slippers for her grandchildren. And when I saw them, I said, oh, you can see the multiple tied loops I have here. I did a whole bunch. I wanted them to be really fluffy and lots and lots of bows on there. So that's what I did. And I just want to say thank you to Gail for the inspiration that she gave me to make these ballet slippers. And, you know, having a ballerina as a granddaughter, it was the perfect project to give her as an add-on gift for Christmas. There's the little envelope I put on the back. There's my card that matches it. You can't see it very well, but I will post it at the end of the tutorial if you want to see how I made that four-sided card. I grabbed some tissue paper. Sorry about that. I can't believe I almost got through the video without an email coming through. So this is the back of my card you're looking at with that deer. That's the back. There's the front. Whole lot of inspiration in that card. A lot of ideas if you want to watch a vintage card tutorial. I love making them. Here's the purse box that I made to house them in. And thank you so very much for joining me. I appreciate everyone that is viewing. If you want to join my challenge, my 90-day no buying challenge, just leave it in the, in the comment section. And oh my, I'm quickly showing you. Isn't this so like me? I thought I was finished. Oh no, let's get away from my 2 left feet ballerina slippers. I had to finish my other granddaughter's box purse. So I'm quickly doing that. Now I have the video to the Ballerina Pink Christmas paper, but this paper obviously was different because my 2 granddaughters have different personalities. And this red, black, and white paper pack with the musical notes went with my other granddaughter's personality. So I was quickly finishing. Like I said, I was working Christmas Eve to get these up and ready. And actually, I don't even think it was, because we didn't open up gifts until the dinner on the Saturday. So it was the day after Christmas that we did this, the exchange. So I was doing it that evening. And I love this paper. I love this red. It's like a deep, luscious red, isn't it? I love stripes in anything. And if you want to see the way I did these, you can go over and check out my video, which I'll leave at the end of this tutorial. Don't you love the straps being in stripes? Love that. And I kept the paper so it had Journey on the bottom. And yeah, this was a delight to make. I had these metal birds, excuse me, that, excuse me, that I made, they were metal, and they went perfectly with the black. And right underneath those die strips, I just wanted to put this in for you so that you could go over and find my tutorial. I matched it, of course, with a belly band card. This is an Anna Griffin card. I put this tie, this belly band I made was out of a long die I had. And what they do is the butterflies tie in, they slide into one another. So isn't that sweet? And I did it with the gold, Martha Stewart gold, thick papers. You just put it over top. There you have it. You have to be very careful. And then the butterflies just slide apart. So you know, if you have them upside down like I do there, I think I have to go back. Oh no, yeah, it is upside down. I don't know, I can't tell. I would say it is because the first time I do anything, is it? No, it isn't. It's right side right. Oh, I thought if this is upside down and then I have two left foot slippers, oh my. So here I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, on the bottom of this one, remember before I put the chipboard, the chip feet, you know, the round wooden feet? Here I used the tacks, they're actual thumbtacks. I have to jump in here to let you know I was able to take some still shots off of my actual timeline doing the voiceover up on the screen, in the screen that I watch. So that's what you're going to see, because I didn't take any pictures because I was in such a hurry to put these in the gift. So I text my granddaughter that these slippers went to, and I asked her if she could please take some photos of the slippers and send them to me, just message them. So I redid the little bit of this ending of the tutorial just to tell you there are pictures on the end of this video for you. Thank you, Kate, for doing that for me, and thank you, Brain, for thinking I could take pictures right off my screen. And yes, so you have yourself a blessed week. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you on the next tutorial. Take care, my friends.